right, welcome to episode 5 of the Some Brothers podcast, where us brothers talk about books, movies, music, and more. I am Dillon here, as usual, with my brother, Ryan. And before we get into recommendations, since we last met, any interesting stories to tell from life? Did anyone barf on anyone else's shoes?
Nobody barfed in this gathering that I'm going to talk about, but I wanted to talk about a little gathering that I had of some friends, and you were there. And one of the things we did there was something that I had an idea for a while, and I just thought it would be fun. We did the Video Game Olympics, which the main idea was just sort of an excuse to play some old video games. I have a pretty good collection of Super Nintendo, Nintendo 64, mostly those two, but some GameCube, some Xbox, and that kind of stuff. And I kind of wanted to get it together and just play some of these games with a group. There's a group of 8 of us there, and play some events as if it's Olympics. Who gets the medals: bronze, silver, gold. And so I kind of wanted to recap that because that was fun to do. It seemed like everybody had a good time there. And I just wanted to go over the events that we did and the results for the two of us, at least.
Absolutely. Kind of a closing ceremony for the listener.
just for the two of us and our performances in it. So the games that we played were Mortal Kombat 1 for Super Nintendo, which was a tournament. We did a tournament there. Double elimination for any of these one-on-one tournament type games. We did Super Smash Brothers #1 for N64. Same thing, tournament. We did Super Mario Brothers, and so we played Super Mario Brothers 1, the version that is in Super Mario All-Stars for Super Nintendo. We played the first level of that for time. So, finish it the fastest, finish the first level the fastest, like a speed run situation. We played GoldenEye for N64. Same thing, first level, the dam, on Agent, who could beat that the fastest. We did Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, the first one, for N64. We played Graffiti in the Warehouse. So that was a tournament style again. We did Time Splitters 2 for GameCube. We played one of the challenges, Bricking It, which was one where you have to go around on... It's the first level of the campaign.
Siberia?
Yeah, I think that's right. And that first area that has the buildings, you run around, you just have bricks, and you have to throw them through the windows and break all the glass of the windows that are there, and try to do that as fast as possible. Then we did Crazy Taxi for Dreamcast, just for score, who could get the highest score in money. I think it does it in dollars, like it's a dollar amount, right?
Yeah.
And then finally we did Need for Speed Underground 2. We did end up playing that on GameCube, right? Because I think I have that for Xbox and for GameCube.
I thought it was Xbox, but now I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure we played it on GameCube because the situation was I didn't have any save files set up. So like the stock cars that you start with are such low performance that it's not even fun. We did a drag race, by the way. We did drag racing for that, and we didn't do one-on-one drag racing. We just played against the CPU one at a time and just picked who could do it the fastest. Your finishing time. But yeah, the stock cars, the performance is horrible. You're going so slow.
I do remember that fun. Now. Yeah, it was super slow.
So we were wanting to just use cheat codes to unlock some more performance to set some custom cars, right?
I remember.
That we could use to make it a little bit better, and at least unlock nitrous, so you could boost a little bit, add a little bit more to the race, a little more variables. And the problem was we couldn't get those cheats to work on the Xbox version. And I, I don't know what that was. That was still a mystery to me. I could only guess. My guess at the time was that somebody had written down what the cheats are in an article for the different platforms, and this is how you enter them. And when they translated that article for the Xbox, they had the Xbox codes, but you have to do something different to
Yeah,
enter
like
them on Xbox
go
or
on a different
something.
screen, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, because it just was not working at all. But they worked on GameCube, so it let us set that up a little bit better for that event. So those were the events we did. And now for our results, you and I, along with one of the other guys there, tied for total number of medals. Three of us had 4 total medals out of the whole thing. But between the two of us, you had a gold and 3 silver. I had 2 gold and 2 bronze that I brought away. And so your silvers were in Super Mario Brothers, Mortal Kombat, and Super Smash Brothers. Yeah.
Yep.
And your gold was in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater.
Naturally, for me.
Yeah.
That's my go-to.
Yeah, and that's not surprising. I guess I don't know that I necessarily would have picked for you Super Mario Brothers.
I think I got lucky there.
but it's not like I would have picked one of these other ones one of these other games to be more likely for you to medal in. GoldenEye, Time Splitters 2, Crazy Taxi, Need for Speed. I wouldn't have necessarily picked any of those for you either, but certainly I would have picked for you to medal in Tony Hawk, Mortal Kombat, and Super Smash Brothers.
Yeah, those made sense to me too. Yeah, they're the fighting games, and then Tony Hawk. Those are pretty much go-tos. But Mario is, kind of classic. I guess I have more experience playing that than some of those other racing type things, and I think. Just for me, I think the most difficult one is probably the Time Splitters one. I don't know. It's just like going to all the windows, throwing the bricks at the right time.
It's definitely different, compared to the rest of them, and it's one of the ones that's less like regularly playing the game.
Yeah, because it's not like anything to do with the career mode. Really, it's one of those challenges in the game that's kind of technique about angles and like which path do you take through the level.
Yeah, and for your reference on that one, just because we're talking about it, you got 5th place.
Yeah, out of what, 8 people, right?
Out of 8, yeah. So you were just below half.
Sounds about right. And then the other one that's difficult was GoldenEye. Even though we used to kind of play that a lot, mostly just multiplayer mode shooting each other, but the first level, I was doing pretty well until I got stuck in that spot where a lot of
people had a hard time, taking that truck through those doors. Yeah. Because if you do it like you play it normally, which is kind of what I did too, is you got to wait for it. But other people found that definitely if you do it, and people who are familiar with speed runs of that or had watched speed runs of it probably know this. If you do it fast enough, you can go through it without the truck.
Like before it even gets there?
I think only one of us actually pulled off getting through before the truck gets there, because the other problem is you can do that, but as the back door is closing of the two, for some reason there's an airlock door situation, sliding doors with this truck. But as the back one is closing, if one of the enemies steps in front of it, it blocks it, and it won't keep going. It won't keep closing. And if it takes you too long to kill that person, then the truck gets there and it blocks it, and it creates a whole problem. It takes way longer than it would have if you just waited for the truck. So yeah, that one was pretty tough. I don't know. I was going to try to look up here, since we were talking about it, where you got on that one. Also, I did not medal on that one either. Let's see. Bronze score was 225. You were a 315. So it looks like you are 5th again.
Oh, okay.
Is that right? No, that's not right. You're 6th. Sorry.
Okay.
Sixth.
At least
sixth.
It's not
anyway.
Last place.
Yeah. So, as for my medals, um, I got bronze in Time Splitters 2 on Brickin' It. I got bronze in Tony Hawk.
Mm.
So I was behind you by 2 places in that. You got gold in it. I got bronze. My golds were just beating you in 2 of your silvers, Super Mario Brothers and Super Smash Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
I was a little surprised I pulled out Super Smash Brothers. There's a lot of times I feel like we kind of go back and forth, but I still feel like you're generally a little bit better than me at that, because it's kind of close to a fighting game.
Yeah.
You're definitely better than me at Mortal Kombat. I didn't medal in Mortal Kombat at all.
Yeah, and that one was the contentious one. That would be the one in the Olympics that the newscasters would cover, and there'd be a lot of controversy over it because we were playing on Super Nintendo, where
Yeah, one of the controllers
yeah,
is not great. The D-pad's a little stiff,
yeah,
and it's hard
it
to
had a
kind
big
of do
effect on
combos.
on Mortal Kombat specifically. It was hard to do combos or the moving and jumping forward and back.
Yeah.
So yeah, just in that game particularly, there was a noticeably good controller, noticeably bad controller, and it's fine. That kind of makes it more realistic to the time of the
Yeah.
nostalgic thing we're going for. Of
Well, and I thought that was kind of fun too because we definitely another thing that we had going on there was big glare
yeah,
from
from the
the
big
window
windows.
on these. We're like turned away, and then but some part of the day for some of these games, it was like I can't even see what I'm doing at all. But everybody was kind of like that. But
Yeah,
it kind of depending on when you played it, it was maybe a little bit different for each person. So
yeah,
it's kind of like you're doing like a outdoor event, and like when you did it, it was hotter than when somebody else
yeah.
did it,
That's
and it's
true.
a harder time.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. It's like if you're doing the long jump, there could be a big gust of wind against you
Yeah.
right when you're jumping, but for the
Yeah,
other
or that
person,
stuff
it pushes
definitely
them forward.
affects like triathlon or
Yeah,
something,
yeah,
that
yeah.
kind of
The
stuff.
things with different events.
So
Hmm.
those are the things that bring the contentious storylines into hopefully we do this in the future, and
Yeah, yeah,
these rivalries
yeah,
start to happen, and people are trading medals and stuff like that.
yeah. So obviously, if we do it again next year, I'll be trying to defend Tony Hawk.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do Tony Hawk 2, but I'll still try to
Yeah.
defend it, even if we switch it up. I want to come back for the Mortal Kombat, try to get that one because
Yeah.
I did notice I won every match when I had the good controller,
The
and
other
I
controller.
I lost every match or the 1 or 2 it takes to
Okay.
eliminate with the bad one. So
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah, I'll have to see if I get a better controller. I do have another controller. I do have a third one. I didn't use that one because it is like a third party
oh, not Nintendo brand.
controller. Yeah, it's not Nintendo brand, so we might see if it maybe works better for Mortal Kombat. But really, the thing is that D-pad's very squishy.
Oh,
It
interesting.
it doesn't feel good. So it's kind of like the opposite of that one
Yeah.
that we had that was a little bit harder. But anyway,
Either
we'll
way,
figure it out.
yeah, it's not really about the medals. It's just a fun, kind of organized way to, I don't know, have an excuse to get together, play some old games, and um,
Yeah.
yeah, it feels like going back in time, and it's the late '90s, early 2000s, and you're just spending the day playing video games. So yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, so if you don't really have much more to talk about that's basically what I wanted to bring. Do you have any stories from life or anything that you wanted to talk about this
Not this
podcast
time.
episode?
No, I don't have any barf on anyone else's shoe stories, so I think we could get into our recommendations for what we've been reading, watching, or listening to lately. As usual, let's start with reading. Have you read any good books or something that you would recommend?
Yeah, I'm actually going to bundle my reading and watching thing together, and it's really all I have to talk about in this segment of our recommendations, and that's Station 11. So I did read finally the book Station 11 by Emily St. John Mandel, and I had watched the show when it came out. It's really a miniseries, in that it's one season, 10 episodes on HBO. It came out in 2021, and I really liked it. And then I learned it was a book, and I was like, oh, I'd like to read that book. And so I did end up reading the book, and then I actually watched it again with my fiance, and I definitely like the show better.
Okay, interesting.
The show is very good. So really, that's my recommendation. If anybody feels like they only have time to do one, reading it we know takes longer. But if you only want to do one, then I would say watch it. It's very good, and the book is good though too. They're just different. They're actually very different. The core like thing going on is the same. And by the way, it's like a post-apocalyptic story where there's some kind of disease that kills a bunch of people, and then it takes place. It kind of jumps back and forth in time, and the future part, the post-apocalyptic part, is like 20 years after the apocalypse, and it follows a group called the Traveling Symphony that travels around a particular loop playing. They play music, but they do plays. They do Shakespeare plays. And so it's kind of interesting. And Station 11 is the name in the book of a graphic novel that one of the characters creates before the whole pandemic and collapse of society. So it kind of sets a motif or a theme or a central, object and idea through the whole thing. And there's a lot of interweaving of characters type of thing. So yeah, they're both good. Plot points very different between the two of them, so that I don't think either one really spoils the other one, because they're different enough. But my biggest recommendation is to watch that show.
Interesting. I remember you mentioning that show, like recommending that show, I think before you even knew it was a book, because I think you mentioned like, oh, I didn't know it was a book.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I need to put that back on my list to check out. And it's interesting to hear you did kind of an adaptation station type of thing with it, where you watched it, read it, and then watched it again.
Yeah.
And also, the plot of it, as you described it, sounds kind of like adaptation station-y in the sense that they have a Shakespeare play within the book and show, and it's based on a graphic novel. The title is a graphic novel within it.
Yeah, it is very that way, in a way. It's very about the arts and media or reading and stories and stuff like that.
Yeah. That's interesting. Well, that will relate in a way to some of the things I wanted to talk about. That was your reading and watching, so I'll do both of mine, starting with reading. This month, I don't have a book to recommend, but I wanted to talk about an article that I read, actually. The article is by Naomi Kanakia that I found on Substack. It's a free article, so we can link it down in the description to this episode. But the article is talking about Raymond Carver. And we did, way back in season 1, we did an adaptation station episode on his short story, Why Don't You Dance, and the movie Everything Must Go. Still one of our favorites is that short story. And this article mostly talks about that collection, what we talk about when we talk about love. And we both read the whole collection after we did that, and we both talked about how we really liked the stories and especially the very minimal writing style. But the thing that I learned from this article was that there are different versions of those short stories. Like there are Raymond Carver's own original drafts that were much longer, and apparently it was a lot of the editor's decision to like cut them down to what they ended up being in the published copy. Yeah, I thought that was interesting because I know this is something you've mentioned, like with Stephen King at least, where because he's so established and he gets to write really long books.
Yeah,
I think you've mentioned some of his newer books especially could use editor. Yeah, so the editor, they name him in the article. The editor's name for that book was Gordon Lish. And it just, I don't know, it changed my mind about the book. Didn't change my mind, but it made me think about how I don't consider the editor when I'm going in to
Yeah.
read a book, you know. It's very much related to what we do, talking about, adaptations and different versions of things.
Yeah.
I like that these days in publishing, if you read a translated book, like translated into English, they'll usually put the translator's name right there on the cover. So
Yeah.
you can see the author, but also the translator, and kind of
Mm-hmm.
give some recognition to be like, oh, this is a good translator. Maybe I'll read their other translations. But
Yeah.
I've never seen that for an editor, like edited by on the cover.
No.
So it just made me wonder, like, uh, if that would be a thing you could do. Like, do I like that book because of Raymond Carver's writing, or was it like the editor that made it?
Go find other books edited by that editor.
Yeah, like, do I want to just seek out a different Gordon Lish edited book before I go read
That's
another
kind of
Carver?
interesting. I would imagine it would be like a combination because
Yeah,
the main part comes from the writer, right? The idea. So like that's going to have a certain quality to it,
yeah,
and then the editor can add something to it. So, but the melding is going to be different if the editor edits a different author. Like you might have some of what you like, but you from the editor. But if the author isn't bringing also what you want, it's probably not the same kind of thing.
yeah,
Um, that's kind of interesting. Whereas it would be also interesting to look at an author, like maybe if you've read a lot from an author who edited each of their books, and it's like, can you tell?
yeah,
You
yeah.
know, like, do you really like that author by themselves, or do you like the author,
Plus the
when they're
editor.
edited by this editor? So yeah, it makes me think of like you can like a certain era of a band.
Yeah,
Some people are definitely only David Lee Roth Van Halen.
yeah, yeah.
You know, don't give me Sammy Hagar.
Hmm.
That kind of those kind of people. Some people like both. Some people like only one or the other. That seems like that might be the case with editors, authors and editors. You might only like an author during this era when they were edited by this editor.
Yeah, it was an interesting thing for me to think about. I like how you compare it to being in a band because it is like a teamwork creativity thing
Yeah.
where it's like I don't know, you can like a songwriter and then another person as an instrumentalist, and then when they come together, it's like the combination of what they've done.
Yeah,
So,
it's like the Beatles could be way better than their solo
yeah,
careers,
yeah. Mm.
same kind of thing.
Yeah, or like looking for a director, there's some directors that like write their own stuff and direct it. They're very involved.
Yeah.
Other ones, it's like you might like the director for their style of shooting it, but everything they do is written by someone else or maybe adaptations of something. Um, so it just was an interesting thing for me to think about, a different perspective. Um, okay, since you talked about your watching already, I'll go to my
Yeah.
viewing recommendation. And I think it was last month when you mentioned you started reading White Teeth that I recommended to you
Yeah.
for a long time ago,
Mm-hmm.
and that relates because I finally got around to watching something that you've been recommending I watch for a long time, and that is
Okay.
True Detective.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. You did mention this to me off air,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
to
Off
speak.
air, I told you when I finished season one of True Detective, which I watched very fast. Um,
Right.
as of now, I just finished season three of True Detective.
Oh, wow, you really blazed through that.
Yeah, because yeah, to give more background, you recommended it. I don't know when. Really talking up that first season that has
Mm-hmm.
Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson as the main partners, and uh, yeah, I loved that season. They have a great chemistry together as those characters. I will say that that's like a perfect role for Matthew McConaughey, in my opinion,
Yeah.
because I don't know if we've talked about it, but I did listen to the audiobook version of Matthew McConaughey's memoir, Green Lights.
Yeah, I remember you mentioning it back when you did it.
Yeah, and
And And I don't think you were the biggest fan of it,
No,
were
it
you?
was disappointing
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
I like that it's available read by him. He's the narrator. He
Right.
has a great voice for it, and he's a performer, and he's talking about his own life, so he brings it to life well. But I don't know. Then it goes on too long, and he tells stories that just they don't seem relevant to anything, and like he seems like he's trying to be more like philosophical and deep than what it is really there.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like not that great. And I think I wrote in my review of it at the time that like he's a great performer, but it's just better when he's performing something written by someone else.
Yeah.
Um, Kind of like what I was talking about with the writing and editing thing. It's like True Detective season one has great writers, a great plot. So him just giving a performance of that character that's so well written, it like it totally works. I thought his character and the
Yeah.
performance of it was great.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Um, yeah, and I like the vibe of it in general. I think is what connects the different seasons.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah.
yeah, if anyone's not familiar, each distinct season is a new set of characters, a different location in the United States, but they're detectives solving a case, usually a long one or a cold case. And yeah, so I think season one I still liked the best.
Yeah.
Season two, I think you told me going into it that like it's not as good or people don't like it as
Mm-hmm.
much. Um, and I definitely see that. It definitely did not hook us in as much as season one. Um, but once it got going, I liked it enough. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
I feel the same way. I feel like there's a lot of people who really hate on it,
mm,
but I don't think it's as bad as most people say. I still enjoy watching it.
yeah, I agree. It's the most different from seasons one and three from what I've seen so far. Um, and yeah, it took me longer, more of a slow burn than like
Mm-hmm.
the first one was more immediately hooking you in. But great cast. I mean, I love
Oh yeah.
Colin Farrell. Very similar vibe to me as Matthew McConaughey in the first one, where he's like very messed up. Uh,
Yeah.
and then what's her name? Rachel McAdams
Yeah.
was awesome. And then Vince Vaughn gave a surprising performance to me
Yeah.
because I know him from like what Wedding Crashers, Old School,
Right.
stuff like that.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
But yeah, I really liked his character where it's like you kind of don't know if he's bad or good, and I
Mm-hmm.
guess a lot of the characters in the show in general are morally gray. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, and the actiony parts in that one, like actually, I don't want to get into the specifics of it so I don't spoil it. But when
Right.
that
Right.
season got actiony, those parts were really good. And then season three, which I just finished, I liked it probably as much as season one, really.
Season 3 is also very good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
with Mahershala Ali, and it kind of brings back similar themes of the first season with
Yeah.
McConaughey talking about time as a flat circle or whatever.
Yeah. It just plays with it with his dementia or
Yeah,
Alzheimer's or whatever, kind of. So it's like a play on memory,
yeah,
and
and it does
that
the
whole thing.
jumping between timelines even more than any of the other seasons with the
Yeah.
1980, 1990, and then 2015 timeline. Um, so yeah, season three, loved it also. Now we just have one more season to watch, which is also what finally convinced us to watch it because you had been recommending it. Plus, my wife's a big fan of Jodie Foster. I mean, I'm also a big fan of Jodie Foster.
Yeah.
So once we saw the newest season has her as one of the main detectives, we're like, okay, well, we got to finally start with season one, get through all of it.
Yeah. And so you have not watched that yet,
No, I
right?
haven't even started season four. We just
Yeah.
finished season three.
So, not to spoil anything, but I think I already told you it's not written by the same Nick
Okay.
Pizzolatto or whatever his
Yeah,
name
the
is for the
creator.
first three seasons. It's not the same creative
Mm.
team. It's like a story that got the branding because it's HBO, and I think that's why it's like got a colon. It's like True Detective: The
Night.
Night Country
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
instead of just True Detective season 4,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, good to know. So it's
So
more like a
it
spin-off.
is. It's more kind of like a spiritual successor, maybe,
Uh-huh.
right? If you've heard that term of somebody trying to make something that's kind of the same. So it's similar in some ways, but clearly different in others. It wasn't to my liking.
Mm.
My fiance liked it, but I didn't like it so much.
Good to know going into it. And yeah, maybe in the next month's episode, I'll have finished it and be able to talk about it more.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just, in general, recommend True Detective as well. You said you don't have any listening recommendations specifically?
Nope, I'm still listening to my Rolling Stones CDs while I'm driving.
Okay, I have a quick listening thing. Not really a recommendation, but I wanted to ask you something because as of this episode coming out, it'll be after Halloween. But
Oh, yeah.
we went on a road trip earlier this year where we were listening to a lot of music, and I was talking about how,
Yeah.
well, like a year ago now, the Halloween previous, I had started making a Halloween playlist for a school potluck Halloween theme that I was doing. And it just made me realize there are so few explicitly Halloween songs.
Mm-hmm.
Christmas has like a million songs.
Yeah.
Halloween has like Monster Mash.
Yeah.
That's basically it. And then like theme songs to a lot of shows. You could do like Goosebumps, Addams Family,
Yeah.
X Files, Twilight Zone. But then I had to start getting creative. I'm like, okay, who can it be now by Men at Work is about someone
Yeah.
knocking on your door. So that's a trick or treating song. Or anything with like a scary vibe to it, like Somebody's Watching Me by Rockwell.
Yeah.
I even put Eyes Without a Face by Billy
Mm-hmm.
Idol. Of course, Thriller, Michael Jackson is a
Thriller.
good
Yeah.
one. Um, but I wanted to ask you because I feel like you recommended me some to add when we were driving,
Yeah.
and now I can't
This
remember
was
them.
this was a while ago. I remember
Yeah,
one of them. One of them was Twilight Zone by Golden Earring.
yeah, yeah. I added that
You know.
one. Um,
I don't know what else did I do. You could do Black Magic Woman. You could do
Santana, yeah.
by Santana. Is Evil Woman good enough for by ELO? Is that good enough for one maybe?
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
Um,
I've been doing ones that are more of a stretch because I'm trying to make the playlist longer.
yeah, I did this once. I don't remember if I put together a playlist, or I was just curating it as I went. But I did that for a Halloween party a few years ago. So like I definitely had a bunch, and that's why some of these were on my mind. But I'll have to I'd have to think about it.
Yeah, I was getting
Those are
pretty.
the ones that kind of come to my mind.
That's a good one. I didn't have Evil Woman, and like I was doing some that are even more of a stretch, like
Oh, I had one Season of the Witch
by the
by
zombies, right?
no by
Oh, I was thinking of Time of the Season.
by oh what's it with a D, the guy who
Oh,
does Try and Catch the
it's
Wind.
Donovan, right?
Donovan, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay.
Season of the Witch by
Season of the
Donovan
Witch.
was the
That's a good one.
other. I think that might have been all that I suggested. That I think that probably encompasses what I was. Sympathy for the Devil.
Oh yeah, yeah. I had.
That's not bad, right?
I don't.
Do the Guns N' Roses version is a little scarier than the Rolling
I
Stones
can put
version.
both just to make the playlist longer.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think I did that. I don't know how I missed that one, but I did put Paint It Black. Just seems close enough,
yeah. Okay. Uh huh.
Um, so even if it's just vaguely like spooky sounding, like I even just put some Evanescence on there because
Okay.
I was actually just searching Halloween playlists and one of them had Bring Me to Life by Evanescence and I'm like, yeah, okay, that could be zombie related. It could be interpreted that
Yeah,
way.
yeah, yeah. Uh huh. And so you obviously have, I'm sure, Zombie on there by the
I
Cranberries.
do have Zombie by the Cranberries. Yep, that's a classic one. Um, Devil Went Down to Georgia. Oh, I just recently added. You were talking about Soul Asylum in one of our recent episodes. I added
Yeah.
Caged Rat.
Okay.
It
Yeah.
just, he's screaming in that one, and it's like about. It seems scary to
Yeah.
me, describing a feeling of being like a caged animal.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, there's plenty you can do as a stretch, but I'm still looking for more. If anyone's listening and has a recommendation,
Yeah.
comment it down below because it's kind of hard to do.
What about like Werewolves of London?
Yeah, I
Is
have
that
that on
song?
there. Werewolves of
You have
London.
that one.
Yeah.
Do you have? Is Hungry Like the Wolf close enough?
I didn't have that, but I should add that. I like it. Yeah. I mean, I put like House of the Rising Sun just because it seems like haunted house
Yeah.
vibes.
Okay. Uh huh. Uh huh.
And I was just thinking about it because, yeah,
Ooh,
Halloween.
what about Superstition by Stevie Wonder?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That's a good one,
That is a
right?
good one, Superstition. I even put Abracadabra, which is kind of like that. It's like
Okay.
about
Yeah. Yeah.
magic. The most recent one I added, which is just a general song recommendation too, is Burn the Witch by Radiohead, one of their more newer songs.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I thought that fit pretty well. Um, but yeah, we can talk about that more later. As of this coming
Yeah, I
out,
feel like
we
that
have another
we
year.
listed a pretty good number of songs just right here, off the top of our heads, kind of.
Yeah, actually, looking at my playlist, maybe I can link the playlist down below as well. I have like 7 hours now since I've added so much to it.
Oh, that's
So
enough for.
that's a party.
Yeah, that's good.
All right. Well, that was our reading, watching, and listening recommendations for this episode. Do you want to do your Marvel Comics power rankings? Are there enough differences this time?
Yeah, I'm gonna go to my Marvel comics that I'm reading right now. Power rankings. That's the official name. TMR.
Mm-hmm.
Trademark restricted. Whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Not really. Okay, so last update was around the beginning of 1970 is where I paused that. We had Silver Surfer that snuck in there onto the list at that time. We're going to be caught up. This is actually my current comics that I'm reading right now as of this recording, rankings. And there's some more shakeup. The first is Silver Surfer is done. That run was 1968 to about the end of 1970. So now we're in 1971. Silver Surfer has ended its Volume 1 run, and it doesn't. We don't get another Silver Surfer popping up in a series until 1987, I think.
Oh.
That's when he gets his Volume 2 Silver Surfer that starts up again. So I'll be looking for that, but that's well into my reading future at this point. So Silver Surfer's off the list. What else is off the list, which I didn't know, and was a surprise to me, is X-Men. X-Men stops
Really?
at the beginning, somewhere early in 1971. Or no, 19. Did I say 1971?
Mm-hmm.
1970.
Oh.
That's where I was last time. So Silver Surfer stopped end of 70. X-Men stops before it, earlier in 1970. And so I had heard that during this early time, and I thought it coincided well with me not really liking X-Men for the early part. And then I was kind of liking it. Remember from my last update, it was like it was up near the top. I think it was number 2. It topped Spider-Man for me right up there at the end, and it was effectively canceled. The comic book kept going. But it was all re-releases during this time. And some of the other characters appeared in some other comic books that happened. Some of the like generic comic books, Amazing Adventures or something like that. They show up during the hiatus, but I had heard that X-Men wasn't doing so great. It was a little shaky. I just thought it just remained not great, and then it was revived in 1975. That's like the rebrand when you get like Storm and Colossus and Nightcrawler and Wolverine joins, that kind of thing. And so I was ready for it to just be kind of mediocre and stumble along until it got really good. I didn't expect it to stop new stories being written for 5 years, basically. That was really surprising to me. So at this point in 1971, where I am, it's off the list. X-Men is off the list also. So here I go into the list. I guess to give you a recap of last time, it was from the bottom to the top, from 7 to 1. Number 7, Iron Man. Number 6 was Hulk. Number 5 was Daredevil. 4, Captain America. 3, Spider-Man. 2, X-Men, and 1 was Silver Surfer. So now, with Silver Surfer and X-Men off, but a new one added, we're back at 6.
Okay.
Um, and coming in number 6 is the new one. Is Black Widow.
Oh.
Reading Black Widow right now, and it is in Amazing Adventures. It's a split comic book. Black Widow is half. The Inhumans are the other half. I'm not reading that half. But I wanted to read Black Widow, kind of curious what that character's history was like. Not really ever familiar with her, except really the movies is the most I knew about, have known about Black Widow. So I was interested in this. And it ends up at the bottom because with it being half of a comic book, compared to the rest of them, there's really not a lot going on. And it really starts up in this period of time where there's a kind of a change going on with all the comic books, where they're maturing in a way in society. They're going from simple, kind of cheesy, funny comic books, and then there's this interim period which happens about right after I was talking about, where I was last time. I was kind of surprised that why is this social stuff being addressed in Silver Surfer of all comic books? Then it really starts getting addressed in all comic books. All of the series are talking about, social issues, and there's war and the civil rights stuff and things like that. It gets talked about a lot more in all the issues, and that's kind of what's happening in Black Widow. They're less action things and more like the storyline will be a group of students or whatever is fed up that they're not being listened to, and they take over this building. Like they go and occupy this building, and the police are like called in to like get them out, but Black Widow's like, no, let me go talk to them, and that kind of a thing. So it's good and it's interesting, and I kind of like that. The comic books aren't long enough to really develop the character, and I haven't been reading it. The run is not very long,
Mm-hmm.
and haven't had enough issues to really develop it too much, and that's kind of why it ends up at the bottom here. Number 5 is Hulk, still kind of near the bottom. There's still some strange stories that happen maybe a little bit. But the big thing that I liked about Hulk at one point in the past is they kind of stopped doing some of the weird space travels. They kind of went through a hiatus where they're not really doing that anymore, and that's kind of what I liked about Hulk, is that it was kind of weird for a period of time, and it doesn't really have that, so it's not really grabbing me again. So it's down at the bottom. Number 4, I have Iron Man, and so Iron Man I think is up from the bottom. Iron Man was at the very bottom before. It was kind of boring and generic, but it pops up a little bit because it's one of the first comic books that starts dealing with other issues in the world, and it does it with like environmental issues. There's this one where he battles Submariner because somebody at one of his manufacturing plants is like going against environmental regulations, and they're like pumping toxic waste into the ocean, and Namor gets mad and he has to fight him, but also go like, I didn't want this. They're doing this against my will. They're not supposed to be pumping toxic waste into the ocean. Yeah. And then he takes it as a cautionary tale at like a beginning and end of the story. Kind of starts with Tony Stark talking to a bunch of like military men about like, this is just a cautionary tale about what can happen if we keep doing this, if we keep treating our planet this way.
Cool.
And so that was kind of cool to see that happening. It's also a little bit discouraging seeing like, oh, that was starting. We were trying to have that happen in the early 70s. And, where are we? 50 years later,
Yeah. Yeah, that's
and
crazy.
We're still in the same planet. But that ended with all those government people going like, all right, okay, tell me when it, helps me monetarily or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, it's the same argument
that's
as always.
Why we have Namor in the newest Black Panther movie, still relevant.
Yeah. So I liked that, so that bumped it up a little bit. It didn't like make it the best thing that there ever was, but it bumped it up. Number 3 is Daredevil. So Daredevil was getting kind of stale. Daredevil was kind of fell to more near the bottom earlier, but and then he kind of started doing this thing that I didn't like, where he was engaged to Karen Page, and she knew he was Daredevil, but she didn't want him to keep doing it because she's worried about him, as Daredevil. He couldn't stop. She basically breaks it off and moves across to California to become an actor, but he stays lingering on, and he follows her over there and does some crime fighting in California, and it's just I didn't like that. I never liked the hanging on of somebody rejects somebody and the other person just continues to follow them around.
Yeah.
It's give it up.
I remember the thing that you didn't like Love in the Time of Cholera.
Yeah.
For that reason.
Yeah. But then kind of very more recently, it starts to he becomes a little more dark and brooding, and he's still brooding about Karen, but he starts to really blame himself for why can't he give this up? Who is he as an identity? And it becomes interesting in a way because he's more preoccupied with that than fighting the bad guys. He's there fighting them, doing his stuff, but his thought bubbles are he's so preoccupied with his general guilt over that, over his failings in his friendship with Foggy and stuff like that, where he's all just blaming himself for things that are going on, and he's still fighting while he's thinking that way. And the narration blocks are like that too. The narration blocks are existential questions. Almost they're in second person. They're talking to Daredevil do you hear that? Do you see that? That's blah 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 blah. And they're weird and existential, as if they're part of his inner voice. And it's kind of interesting. It's I wonder if they're starting to kind of establish that as something more unique, establish the character a little more than just fighting people, Yeah. Number 2, Captain America stays kind of near the top here, because Falcon it is now Captain America and the Falcon, the comic book. So Falcon is in it. He doesn't have wings yet, but he had a jetpack in one episode. So I feel like we're getting there. Yeah. We're teasing it. They're teasing the fact that he should fly. But it's definitely better with Falcon. Captain America, kind of, I think I might have mentioned this at the beginning, was never super interesting to me as a character, Steve Rogers.
Yeah.
So them together is a lot better, and that's kind of it. That's really a better era there. And then, of course, I don't really talk about it that much, but Spider-Man's at the top. I think the thing that I would say about it is that the thing that sets it apart really is that it's one of the ones that Stan Lee himself is still writing at this time. He's editing, he's listed as editor on a lot of them, but he's writing Spider-Man much later, and that's what I like. He was also the writer of Silver Surfer. And that's probably why I liked that as well. I did notice there's some of these that he is the writer of, at least the last Captain America that I read, he was the writer of that. And maybe that's why it starts to get better. That's why Falcon has a bigger role. He recognizes that it's a good character, and he wants to write it. So I don't know. I think that's probably kind of the reason why Spider-Man is the best, is you've got Stan Lee being the one who writes him,
Makes sense. Okay, so Spider-Man on top. So now that you've done your Marvel rankings for this month, we have a main event to talk about, which I think will be the most important topic we've ever talked about on here. One of the most difficult rankings I've ever had to do behind the scenes.
Yeah.
For the listener at home, we've got Thanksgiving coming up soon. So we chose a food-related topic, something we don't usually talk about on here. And today we are going to give our each individual definitive cheese rankings, types of cheese ranked worst to best, focusing on the best of the best. Yeah. And there are so many different types of cheese. I mean, that's why I think this is so difficult and so important to the culinary landscape as well. So much you can do with cheese.
Oh, yeah.
So do you want to start? How do you want to do this?
Well, I want to talk about a couple of things that I was thinking about. We didn't really discuss the format of this in depth for making sure we both did the exact same thing.
Yeah.
For one, I don't know if you did this. I didn't. I decided not to include some variations on cheeses. Like I didn't include smoked variations. Like I don't have Gouda and smoked Gouda or cheddar and smoked cheddar. I also didn't include mild, medium versus sharp cheddar.
Oh, yeah.
I figured that was pretty much the same kind of thing. I just like lumped cheddar in as its own thing. I do have I don't know. It's my own rules. White cheddar's different than regular cheddar, I guess.
I agree. Yeah.
So I kind of did that. It's different enough. So there's some that I consider different enough. Now, I didn't also include less common peppered varieties. Pepper jack, common enough. It makes the list of eligible cheeses. But if you have like a jalapeno specific, like a jalapeno cheese or a habanero cheese, you can have a billion different types of cheeses. I looked up a lot of cheese lists to make sure that I was getting my pick that I wanted and I didn't leave one off. I probably still left one off. I went to Wikipedia, lists of cheeses by region, scrolled down, went to the bigger articles for some of the bigger countries, made sure I scrolled at least quickly, through Irish cheeses, French cheeses, German cheeses, Spanish cheeses, the countries that are big enough that have a lot of their own cheeses, Italy, Italian cheeses. So that's the other thing to discuss. How many cheeses did you...
Yeah, I will say it sounds like you did a lot more work than me because just for me, I started just writing out a list off the top of my head, different cheeses I could think of. And I already started getting overwhelmed just from that practice. I was like, I came up with a list, but then as I was listing them out, I kept moving the ranking. I'm like, I don't know which one's better.
It is definitely tough because cheeses are used in different contexts with different foods, so it's hard to just rank cheeses by themselves.
Yeah, so basically for my own sanity, I just chose ones off the top of my head. I thought those must be the most important to me if I can think of them off the top of my head.
Yeah.
And I have a list of 13. I was thinking of that as like a top 10 list with a couple of, where a few honorable mentions.
Yeah. Okay.
How many do you have?
I have 25 cheeses.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's a lot of cheeses.
So maybe we go through the top 10 and then you give your honorable mentions.
Yeah.
And then maybe I breeze through my remaining 15.
Yeah.
Or something.
Do you want to go back and forth from 10 to 1?
Yeah, sure.
My number 10 is smoked cheddar.
Oh, so you did include the variation on there.
Yeah, I mean, I'll spoil that I don't have any other cheddar. I just wanted to specify cheddar by itself to me is a little bit boring, but smoked cheddar is so good to me.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, and I did do that rule, but for sure smoked cheddar would be, and smoked Gouda versus regular Gouda, definitely a smoked variety of cheese elevates the cheese by a lot. Interesting to me, that smoked cheddar is 10 for you. Smoked cheddar would be much higher than 10 for me if it were on my list. My number 10 is actually nacho cheese.
Oh, wow.
Nacho cheese, or I know queso, you call it a little bit different. I know people consider them to be different things. It's close.
Melted cheese.
It's a cheese sauce, a melted cheese sauce with some spice to it, peppers in it, that kind of a thing. But nacho cheese makes my list at number 10. My top 10.
Yeah, I'll say I'm glad that it made the top 10, but it's much higher on my list, so stay tuned.
Okay.
Number 9 for me is Parmesan. I mean, that's a pretty unique cheese, that you can put on a pasta or a salad, something like that. Not way up in the top 5 for me, but I like it. Very unique.
I think our lists are very different, are going to be very different, much like we were talking about with other things. We both love cheese, but our cheeses are all over the place. My number 9 is white cheddar.
Ah, okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like a white cheddar.
That's a good one.
Yeah, it's generally it's a good one with crackers.
Yeah, straightforward.
A little sharper cheese, harder cheese.
Okay. My number 8, Another one for Italian dishes, mozzarella.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, like mozzarella sticks with some marinara is really good. So yeah, I like mozzarella on stuff, Italian specifically.
My number 8 is feta.
Oh, okay, that did not make
I
my list.
like I like the sharper, tangier types of cheeses too. Smellier,
Yeah,
kind of a little bit. So feta is good. It really can elevate something. My fiance once made me grilled cheese sandwich with feta in it.
interesting.
Also, as like cheddar and feta. Oh, that was very good.
Huh.
So I don't know how much you like feta, but that you might want to try that sometime.
Yeah, I didn't include it. Again, it was off the top of my head, so I think I'm sleeping on feta. I'm not paying enough attention to it. I couldn't tell you the last time I had a feta cheese.
Yeah.
I'll have to do that soon. My number 7 is Gouda. Um, yeah,
Okay.
you could call that smoked Gouda, I guess, too. Just, I don't go out and get Gouda very often, but
Yeah, neither do I, but
there's no
when
reason
I
for
do,
that. Yeah, when I do, I'm like,
yeah,
oh, that was nice. Yeah, that was really
yeah,
good. So I put it pretty high. I mean, above mozzarella
yeah.
and Parmesan, which I probably have more often.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think the same thing about Gouda, which is interesting. You will see that on my list as a little
Hmm.
teaser, and it's interesting that I don't get it more based on where it is on my list. My number 7 is goat cheese. Goat
Ah,
cheese is very versatile. I like a soft, creamy cheese.
yeah,
It's great as a spread with some crackers, but you can do a lot with it. You can put a lot in it. You can have your blueberry goat cheese for a little something that's sweet. You can have your habanero in there. You can have, some spices in there that really mix it up and give you a kind of different flavors in your charcuterie. So that's why I like a goat cheese.
that's another one that didn't make my list that I will have to try more because I think I've only had goat cheese one time. Only one time I can think of. So yeah, I'll have to experiment with that. My number 6 is one that was on your list already, a white cheddar. It
Okay.
is kind of
Okay.
a simple cheese, but I don't know. I really like white cheddar.
I'm a fan of cheddar. My number 6 is cheddar.
Ah,
Regular
okay,
cheddar
okay.
makes it to number 6 for
We
me.
kind of flip
Um,
flopped those.
we flip flopped the cheddar and the white cheddar, yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Interesting. Well, that will bring us to the top 5.
Okay. Yeah.
And my number 5, just making it into the top, is blue cheese. Uh,
Wow.
is that your
My
number
number
5?
5 is blue cheese.
Okay, awesome. I
Yeah,
thought you liked blue cheese, and then the way you were
I do.
talking about goat cheese is kind of similar to that to me because, blue cheese can be divisive. Some people hate blue
Yeah.
cheese,
Mm-hmm.
and it is smelly for sure. It's very
Yeah.
sharp, but
Yeah.
to me, that's another one I don't get very often. But when I do, it's like a very special treat because it'll be on
Yeah.
something more unique, like you put it on a salad or even
Yeah.
on a burger, a blue cheese
Yeah. Blue
burger.
cheeseburger is great. Yeah.
And this is the first time on my list where my mouth started to water. So like we are getting into the
Yeah.
top 5. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
I like those sharp things that some people don't like. The tang, like a mustards, pickles, wasabi,
Mm-hmm.
and blue cheese.
Yeah, I do too, and it's a little surprising to me that I didn't end up having some of these sharper cheeses closer to the top even than this,
Mhm.
um, because I do like them so much. I think it just comes down to um, it is possible to have a little too much at once. You
Yeah,
don't want it all the time. You want it as this accent, but as the accent, it is very good.
yeah, I agree with that. That's why it's like it's a special treat, but like you can't eat your special treat every day, or it's not a special
Yeah,
treat. So
exactly, exactly.
okay, and moving on to number 4, kind of the opposite of a special treat, more of a straightforward, simple one. For me, number 4 is American cheese. A,
Okay,
a
wow,
simple
that's
American
that's very
cheese.
high for American
Yeah,
cheese. Yeah.
because there's something just nostalgic about it to me that's
Yeah.
like,
Are
as,
you a American cheese is your grilled cheese
yeah,
cheese of
that's
choice?
what I was going to say. A
Um,
simple,
yeah.
grilled cheese sandwich. I think of American cheese. I also think of just being, like a chubby little fat kid and those individual plastic wrapped American cheeses.
Yeah.
I used to just go
Yeah.
into the fridge, take one of those, put it on a slice of bologna, fold it up so it looks like a piece of
Yeah.
pizza, and just eat it.
Yeah.
So there's something very like
Oh yeah.
homecoming about that to me.
Yeah. Yeah. I get it. My number 4 is Havarti.
Havarti, okay, another one not on
Yeah.
my list.
I like Havarti. It's one of those ones that like I don't think about very often, but whenever I get it, it's available. Havarti is good as a to me a good sandwich cheese. I like it by itself, on a cheese board, on charcuterie or something, and it is a milder of the cheeses.
Mm.
But something about the mildness with just a little bit of flavor of these unique flavors, something about that has a little bit of the staying power
Mm.
if the flavor is good enough for me and it's a good texture to it. So Havarti's my number 4.
Nice. Similar reason almost. Number 3 for me is cream cheese.
Okay.
I mean, I had to put
Yeah.
some
Oh
I
yeah.
had to put some variation in the top there with different types. And yeah, cream cheese. I mean, this is another one where you can have a bunch of different types of cream cheese too. You can add different flavors to it. Jalapeno cream cheese.
That's true. That's definitely true.
Um,
Yeah.
and yeah, it's just so unique. I mean, spreadable. Put it on a toasted bagel.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what else.
Yeah. 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 Not much else to say. My number 3 is Munster.
Okay, Munster.
Similar reason to Havarti. Mild, soft cheese. It's Munster almost has the same kind of a texture as American cheese. It's very soft. And it is mild, but I've always liked it, and maybe some of it's aesthetic. I like the orange
Mm.
around the outside of it. Something about that. So that's another one where it's like classic, best of the best sandwich cheese for me. Something about it has always seemed to pair very well with mustard. The flavor profile of Munster with mustard. Maybe it's just in my brain because they both start with mu.
Yeah, they sound the
But
same.
yeah, yeah, I've always loved Munster.
That's another one I'm sleeping on. I got to try it more, especially because I love mustard, on a sandwich. So I'm going to have to go grocery shopping after this. My number 2, you mentioned a while ago, and that is the nacho cheese /
Nacho
queso.
cheese is here too.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
I
high.
put it high, and I don't have it often. It's not like I go get nachos
Yeah,
often or put it in something. So this one's, kind of like a special treat, but also just like the uniqueness of it puts it even higher because it's like, I don't know, the meltiness of it, the way you can use it like a
yeah,
sauce, like you said, like a
yeah.
sauce, or even
Oh yeah,
in a burrito.
oh
And yeah,
yeah.
you
I
can
definitely do
you
that.
can add flavor to it, make it spicy, like you said. So
Mm-hmm.
it deserves to be up there for me.
Yeah, I agree. So my number 2 is cream cheese.
Ah, okay.
So my cream cheese hits number 2. We're very close on our cream cheese. I love cream cheese. I use it on more things than anybody will use cream cheese on. I don't know if you have picked up on this or knew this about me. Every once in a while, I'll put cream cheese on a sandwich.
Yeah, I have. I think I've seen you
I'll
put
put
it on
cream
some weird
cheese
things.
on a hot dog.
Yeah, that seems weird to
I'll
me,
put
but
cream cheese on a hot dog. I like it on chili dogs, like specifically. Like I'll prefer cream cheese to a sour cream on
huh,
chili dog. It's almost the same thing for me. It's like a little bit of that coldness
yeah,
in there.
that's interesting to
I
me
don't know, something
because
about it. I really like cream
those
cheese.
would not have been interchangeable in my mind, sour cream and cream
Yeah,
cheese. But I,
they're different.
yeah,
They're different, and I'm not saying that it performs the exact same flavor function.
but
I'm
yeah,
just saying
they're both having the
it's
coldness you're talking about,
yeah,
adding it to a hot
yeah.
dish, and yeah, sour cream, cream cheese. I get it.
Yeah.
Well, getting to the number 1.
Number 1. What's your number 1
This
cheese?
one, it was kind of an easy decision for me to choose what's my number
Oh,
1.
I know what your number 1
Yeah.
cheese is. Yeah,
Uh,
I do.
my number 1 is pepper jack.
Mm-hmm.
I always choose pepper jack. This is the one that I have the most often for sure. So
Yeah.
I can't put one of these special treats above the one that I know I actually choose on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
In a sandwich or any type of cooking I'm doing, if I'm going to add cheese, it's the pepper jack
Mm-hmm.
cheese that's always in my fridge. So
Yeah.
it's my number 1.
My number 1 is Gouda.
Oh, okay.
Gouda is my number
Yeah.
one. Now, and this is where I was saying I don't get it all the time. My most common cheese that I have at the house is just the cheddar, the number 6 plain cheddar. But if I go to a sandwich shop, a deli or something, I'm ordering Gouda on my sandwich. Basically always. So the Gouda is my treat. I can't have it all. I won't have it all the time because it's so much better if I just have it some of the time. So that is my number one.
That's interesting. We have a slightly different logic, but I definitely understand where you're coming from, where it's like, it's a not so much a rare treat like a blue cheese. It's more like at home you'll have a simple thing, but when you go out,
Yeah.
get the favorite thing.
Yeah.
You got to keep it a little bit special like that. Interesting. It is very interesting to see how much difference we have on.
We're very different
list of
except
cheese
the cream
rankings.
cheese. The cream cheese is really the thing that ended up in about the same spot for us.
And the blue cheese, right? That was both our number 5.
Yeah, the blue cheese was exact.
Yeah.
Number 5. Both of us blue cheese and then cream cheese 2 and 3.
Yeah,
So
something special about that.
close.
And we flipped the cheddars, but both cheddars made.
Yeah, that's true.
top.
We both had the same cheddars.
But you had 4 that didn't even make my top 10 or honorable mentions, I'll tell you right now. The Havarti, Munster, Feta, or goat cheese.
Okay, well, and your 4 that are in there, I think, are all on my list somewhere.
Your long list, yeah. Well,
yeah.
let me give.
I didn't write down which ones they were. American, Parmesan, Monterey, or no, Pepper Jack.
Oh yeah, Pepper Jack wasn't in your
There
top
was another
10.
one, right? I don't know.
Did you?
Maybe
You didn't
was,
say mozzarella, right?
Mozzarella. Yep. Those are all on my 20. They better be. Yeah, I did an exhaustive search, so I better have basically every cheese I've ever eaten on here.
Before you give your other ones really fast, I'll give you my just 3 honorable mentions. Because Pepper Jack is my number 1, I wanted to mention Colby Jack and Monterey Jack.
Okay.
I like those. Yeah, there are other Jacks. It almost felt like those are variations. I can't just put all the Jacks in my top 5.
I included them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then another honorable mention, the last honorable mention is I did want to give a shout out to Easy Cheese. The sprayable, thing you put on a cracker. That's another one where it's like kind of like American cheese. It's like a nostalgic, very unhealthy thing I would want to put on a cracker, but it's not one that I actually ever go back to. I never go get it. It's just like I have nice memories with the Easy Cheese.
Every few years, I'll get a can, like maybe 5 years. Every 5 years, I'll get a can of Easy Cheese.
It's been too long for me.
One time when I go camping or something.
Yeah.
Because of that. So yes, Easy Cheese is also on my list.
Let's hear the other ones. Let's rattle them off.
How should I go through my list? Should I have them all ranked? Should I go from 11 down to the bottom?
Yeah,
or should I start at the bottom?
No, go 11
I'll
to
start
the
at 11.
bottom. Yeah, it'll be interesting. Like,
that sounds
they're
good.
getting worse.
Yeah. 11, I put ricotta.
Okay.
Ricotta, Italian, Italian, very light, smooth, creamy cheese. Mm-hmm. But I really like that. It has its place, Number 12, I have cotija.
Yeah. I almost felt bad leaving that off.
Which is
the
crumbliness, kind of crumbly. Yeah. Very kind of understated. It's not very powerful usually in what it's in. But I still do like it.
Good to put on top of like an enchilada or something like that.
Yeah. 13 is Asiago. Again, with the Italian. Asiago is good. In a similar function as a Parmesan almost, right? 14 is Swiss.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah, and we're getting into a few of the sandwich cheeses here. 15 provolone. 16 mozzarella. That's pretty close in there, honestly, to me. But I do like mozzarella's in there. 17 is American cheese.
Wow, very low.
It's where I'll just want it on a burger every once in a while.
Yeah. I mean, that's a nostalgic one for me, being so high, so I get that.
18 is Parmesan.
Yeah.
For me. Okay. Parmesan's not really the highest. I usually put it on there. I get it on there. You're at the restaurant and you're like, they're grating the Parmesan and you're saying when, and I have it, but it's not like it's my best cheese that I would ever want. 19, Monterey Jack.
Okay.
The highest of the Jacks. is Monterey Jack, actually. Surprising to me as I was going through this. But number 20, cottage cheese.
Oh, yeah.
I kind of like cottage cheese. It's pretty far down on my list in terms of just eating it. It's okay as a like healthy cheese, I guess,
for
right?
Sure, yeah.
But it's pretty low on here. Number 21 is Colby Jack.
Okay.
Number 22 is Pepper Jack.
Wow.
Really kind of not my favorite of the
Not even
cheeses.
in the top 20.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just for whatever reason it's never what I'm choosing.
Interesting.
23 is easy cheese. 22 or 24 I put on here paneer, the Indian cheese.
Oh, okay.
That's mostly unassuming, very mild. But I don't really mind it, but I wouldn't like choose to eat it. A lot of these other cheeses I would choose to eat by themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Number 25, rounding out my list, I put brie.
Oh, yeah.
Brie is a very popular
charcuterie board one.
Charcuterie board cheese, and a lot of people really like it. It's very fancy. It's very soft and spreadable. I've never really liked it that much. It's like, it's okay. I'll eat it on there. You know, all these cheeses I'm going to eat. This is my top 25. This isn't, cheeses that I dislike. But it does make the bottom of my list.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, in retrospect, now that we've gone through it, I mean, I kind of want to add cotija to mine a little bit higher. I could easily slot that in, in my top 10, maybe above Parmesan, because like you were saying, I don't really seek it out that often. It's just like, put it on Italian stuff, because that's what they do.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay, that was interesting to do. Our first food-related ranking, which is, to me, more difficult than the other stuff we talk about.
Yeah, we actually ended up talking about that a lot longer than I thought that we would.
Yeah, I think this will be our longest episode so far because
it definitely will.
We still need to do our recast.
Our recast, yeah. We'll go into our recast right now.
Yeah.
Maybe this will be a little bit faster than last month's James Bond recast, but the recast that we wanted to do for this one is if they made a Tony Hawk's Pro Skater movie.
Yes, which I would love.
A movie adaptation of the video game, basically, just like a Tony Hawk movie, not a documentary, just a skateboarding movie starring Tony Hawk. Who would you have play Tony Hawk in this movie?
Yeah, this one was hard for me to think about because obviously I love those games. I'm a gold medalist in graffiti, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1. But I was trying to think, what would an adaptation even look like? I feel like Tony Hawk's Underground has the best storyline if they wanted to take that one. But then the other thing I struggled with for a pick is like, am I going to choose an actor that's like Tony Hawk's age now, or is it like a young Tony Hawk? So what I actually did is I chose two different actors. I'm imagining there'll be like an old Tony Hawk telling the story, and then it's a flashback to young Tony Hawk. So
interesting.
For current day Tony Hawk, I chose Patrick Wilson from Lakeview Terrace, one of my favorite movies. Other things like Watchmen, Aquaman, the Conjuring movies. He's 52. Tony Hawk is 57 today, and I was kind of just looking at people that look like Tony Hawk a little bit, and I just love Patrick Wilson as an actor. It'd be kind of funny to see him as like skater dude role. A little against typecast maybe for him. But he'll tell the story in the flashbacks to young Tony Hawk. I chose the actor Lucas Hedges, who is, he's 28 years old. You would know him from Manchester by the Sea that we went and watched in theaters together.
Yeah.
He plays the young guy, the nephew of, what's his name?
Oh,
Casey
yes,
Affleck.
yes.
Yeah, he's also in Lady Bird. So a young actor that I thought just, kind of looked close enough to Tony Hawk.
That's a good pick.
Good dramatic actor too, kind of angst.
I had a hard time finding somebody who looked like enough to fit a vibe of. Yeah. I went for a younger Tony Hawk too, or not two, but only.
Yeah.
You did both. I only did only. So that it was a little tough.
Who'd you choose for the young Tony Hawk?
I had the tough time I had with this was, to me, Tony Hawk seems pretty, like we've known what he looks like for so long, and I don't go around thinking there's an actor who looks like Tony Hawk or anything. And the other thing is, like, he's tall and lanky.
Yeah.
So, like, is there somebody who is that? And I ended up not going with that because it was too hard. Tony Hawk's like 6'3". It's tough to find that in somebody who also looks like him. So I actually went with Skylar Gisondo.
I don't know who that is.
He most recently was Jimmy Olsen in the new Superman movie. You might recognize him. He's definitely in stuff, probably as a younger child actor.
Yeah, I just looked him up. He looks familiar. I mean, he's in Night at the Museum, apparently.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and I just thought sometimes he has longer hair, but like pictures of him with shorter hair, he fits the SoCal kind of, surfer skater vibe a little bit. And that's kind of what I was mostly going for.
Yeah, very cool. That's a good pick. I wanted to mention my runner-up for young Tony Hawk was Cody McPhee, who we watched in The Road. He plays the son in that, because he's a little kid in that, but he's almost 30 now. So I'm like, I don't think he looks like Tony Hawk so much, like face-wise, but he's like, tall, skinny guy, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, so those are our picks for the Tony Hawk Pro Skater movie. Let us know in the comments below who chose a better Tony Hawk, the young version. I have the only older one. But yeah, I would be really happy to see any kind of Tony Hawk movie. And as for this episode, our longest and most important episode of the Some Brothers podcast, Ranking Cheeses. Thank you for listening to episode 5. And in case you missed it, we have a lot of videos from October. Other than our episode of this podcast, we had the last episode of Adaptation Station Season 4 on Dolores Claiborne by Stephen King. We had the Season 4 wrap-up. We had our ongoing Ring series on Birthday by Koji Suzuki. And since we're in the normal break period between seasons, if you stuck around this long in the podcast, we wanted to give you a little bonus behind-the-scenes sneak preview for Adaptation Station Season 5. We just wrapped up Season 4, but we do have set in stone which books and movies we are going to do for the next year of Adaptation Station. In case you want to read and watch ahead, I'll give you each month really quickly what titles we'll be doing. So airing in 2026, March, we will read Beloved by Toni Morrison and watch the movie adaptation. In April, we are going to be reading Cell by Stephen King, and the movie adaptation with Samuel L. Jackson and John Cusack. In May, we'll be doing a comic book or a short comic book series called Bulletproof Monk and the early 2000s adaptation.
Yep.
In June, we will be doing Eaters of the Dead, another Michael Crichton story, which was adapted into a movie called The 13th Warrior with Antonio Banderas. In July, we will be doing The Boy in Striped Pajamas by John Boyne and the movie adaptation of the same title. In August, we will be doing Hold the Dark. Do you remember the author's name? I don't have that in my notes right now.
I should have it close to me here. It's William Giraldi.
Hold the Dark by William Giraldi. And the movie adaptation, which is more of why I was interested, because it's directed by Jeremy Saulnier, who directed things like Green Room, one of my favorite movies. In September, we will be reading The Tempest by William Shakespeare, and that has an adaptation called The Forbidden Planet, sort of a retro sci-fi movie.
Yeah, not just retro, it's from the 50s or something, right?
Yeah, so early cinema.
Yeah. I just mean not like, it's not a new one in the style of in a retro style.
Yeah, I meant like actually an old movie.
Yeah.
And that will bring us to October. We have a scary pick. We are going to be reading Dark Water. This is written by Koji Suzuki, who wrote the Ring series, which we've been enjoying. And that got an early 2000s horror movie adaptation. And of course, for Halloween next year, we'll be doing, sadly, probably our last edition of the Ring series with the book S by Koji Suzuki and some other Sadako related movie adaptations, because they made a lot of movies of that also. There is one more book in this series, Tide, but as we've mentioned, we recently learned there's no English translation, at least not yet.
Yeah.
So there's your little sneak preview. That's what we're doing for Adaptation Station Season 5, in case you want to read or watch ahead, and we'll see you somewhat soon for those. Again, thanks for listening to this episode of the podcast. We'll be continuing these episodes of the podcast throughout the break before the next season. So see you next month. Bye.